Hey, my name is Lara. Today we're going to be making Chikofte, which is similar to steak tartare, except it uses ground beef and bulgur. It's made on special occasions in my family, and those who eat raw meat really love it. Let's get started.
Chikofte is relatively easy to make. Today I will show you how to make two different versions. The first is more meat forward and the second is more bulgur heavy. Make sure to use meat from a trusted butcher that is as fresh as you can get. The most important part about making chikofte is that the meat stays extremely cold at all times. Not only does this keep your meat fresh, but it helps preserve the bright red color of the meat by preventing oxidation. To begin, add a few ice cubes to a large mixing bowl. This helps keep everything cold. Then add a quarter cup of number 1 bulgur and a quarter cup of water to the bowl. Stir to combine. The water is used to soften the bulgur. Then add to the bowl a quarter of a white onion, minced, and smash it with the back of your spoon to release its juices. Add 1 teaspoon each Aleppo pepper, salt, and dried basil, as well as 2 tablespoons of pepper paste, and stir until it's all incorporated. Then remove the ice cubes. The meat I have here is specifically grinded Chikofte meat by my local Armenian butcher. If you don't have access to this kind of meat, continue watching to learn how to do it yourself. I like to wear a glove, but that's up to you. Add the meat to your mixing bowl. Dip your hand into a bowl of ice water, which not only keeps your hands cold, but prevents the meat from sticking. Begin kneading for about 1 minute by squeezing the meat and incorporating everything together. Then add 3 tablespoons of olive oil. The rest is to be reserved for greasing our platter and topping at the end. Continue kneading until everything looks evenly incorporated, about an additional 2 minutes. Once you're finished kneading, grease your platter with 3 tablespoons of olive oil, using your hands to spread it out. Transfer the meat mixture onto the platter and begin to spread it out evenly, dipping your hands into the ice water periodically to prevent sticking. Just try to get the meat into one even layer as best as you can. Once the meat is evenly spread out on the platter, dip your hands in the ice water one last time and smooth out the top. I'm quite messy during this process, so I'm using a dish towel here just to clean up the edges. It's traditional to create a pattern on your chikofte. Using a fork, I like to make a diagonal pattern as you see here, but be creative. Lastly, garnish with finely chopped parsley, green onions, white onions, and toasted, always toasted, pine nuts. If you're allergic to pine nuts, just don't include them. Then finish with the remainder of your olive oil and that's it. Now if you don't have access to chikofte meat, you'll need to make it yourself, for which you are going to need a food processor. Use the freshest top round or top sirloin cuts you can find and that you trust can be consumed raw. Trim all the fat and cut it into 1-inch pieces as you see here. Then place everything, including the food processor work bowl and blade, into the freezer for 30 minutes so that the meat will blend better and retain its red color. After chilling for 30 minutes, remove the food processor from the freezer and blend half a white onion. Scrape down the sides and blend again until it looks like this. In a large bowl, combine your blended onions with your partially frozen cubed meat. Add half of the meat and onion mixture into the food processor and blend. Scrape down the sides as necessary and blend again until it forms a cohesive paste. Repeat this process with the other half of your mixture. Blend, scrape down the sides, then blend again and you're ready to make chikofte. This is what the meat should look like when it's done being blended. Add 3 tablespoons of olive oil and a teaspoon each of dried basil, Aleppo pepper, salt, and cayenne to your bowl. Then add 3 tablespoons of pepper paste and 1 cup of number 1 bulgur. And that's where I messed up. Before adding the bulgur to the mix, add 1 cup of water to it and let it sit for 15 minutes to allow it to soften. I just added the water directly to my meat mixture, which still worked, but it would be best to let the bulgur soak ahead of time. Okay, to continue, dip your hands in the ice water and knead until everything comes together, just as we did for the first batch of chikofte. It should take about 2 to 3 minutes. See, this is where I had to add water to fix my mistake. Then pour 3 tablespoons of olive oil on your platter and spread it around. This time, I'm going to shape the chikofte differently. Dip your hand in ice water to prevent sticking, and grab a golf ball-sized piece of meat. Roll it in your hand, and then squeeze it tight to create the finger indentations. Place it on the platter and repeat until all your meat has been shaped. It takes a couple tries to get the hang of it, but once you do, this process goes by pretty quickly. Once you finish forming all the chikofte, sprinkle it with finely chopped parsley, green onions, white onions, and of course the toasted pine nuts. Lastly, drizzle what's left of the olive oil, and you're done.
My favorite way to eat this is with bread, but plenty of people enjoy it on its own. I like both of these versions, so try both of them out, see what you like. If you do end up making it, please tag us on Instagram. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.